Boom. 305. 305. Today is the 15th of February, day after Valentine's Day. Let's go. Excited to be here. Brant Miner, Grit, Oregon, informational Zoom call. Starting off, we have our youngest coach, our newest addition. Doesn't know me, does probably know me well enough to know that he's going to get my heart rate elevated a little bit by flying that North Carolina crap behind him. Coach Braden Monnet, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining. Even if you do have that baby blue, we have baby blue, but we don't have any of that navy blue to. Okay, okay. You guys didn't know I'm a big Duke fan. Big Duke fan. I've been fortunate to spend 9 summers back at Duke coaching their summer camps with Coach K. So I'm a huge Duke Blue Devil fan. So Braden, I love him. He's on our coaching staff this year, but man, still hurts, stings a little bit, that loss, that ball in the air three. I know you'd seen the other side of that quite a bit as a North Carolina fan. So all right, we digress a little bit. There still is people coming in. Thanks for being here. Like I mentioned, my name is Brant Miner. I started Grit in 2021. I'm getting an echo. 2021. So coming out of the pandemic, that's when I started Grit. I had a club team prior to that when I was coaching down in Ashland at Southern Oregon University called the Oregon Stars. I ran the Oregon Stars for 5 years and retired that program because I moved back to Portland, didn't coach club ball for about 5, 6 years, and then started Grit. Coming out of the pandemic, was wanting to do something to kind of give kids the same opportunity that I had when I was in high school to travel, meet people, have experiences that I wouldn't have had otherwise, relationships, friendships that I wouldn't have had otherwise. So that's what kind of got me started with Grit. And I'm going to start right from the top explaining what Grit means, because this is a very important part of this basketball opportunity that we're looking at today is the foundation of the program. We wear our core values on our chest. Players, parents will know this acronym because we talk about it a lot. And if we're putting these dots in between, it means it's not just a word Grit, it's an acronym, which means that each of these letters stand for one of our 4 core values. So just as a test, I'm going to pass it to Zach Miller to get us started. See, this is the type of stuff I want players to be able to step up out of their comfort zone. And I'm going to call on Zach because I'm confident in Zach. He's a member of our program from last year. Zach, unmute your mic and tell us what the G in Grit stands for. Zach Miller.
Gratitude.
Gratitude. Gratitude. Absolutely. That's where it starts. I'm thankful. We talk about being thankful and showing gratitude in all things, big, small, good, bad. We're thankful to be able to just play the game of basketball. It can be taken away. We've learned that, whether that's a pandemic. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. An injury, maybe you don't make a team, but we're thankful. We talk about being thankful in all things. So the R, coming out of the pandemic, I thought it was really important that we talked about resiliency. So gratitude, resiliency. Let's see, I do see who else was here before. I'm going to call on Cooper. Cooper's going to tell us what the I. We talked about gratitude, resiliency. What's the I, Cooper?
Intensity.
B. You get a B. If you would have said integrity, that would have been a D, F answer. But intensity, say it with a little bit more intensity, Cooper. What's the I?
Intensity.
There we go. Let's go. Intensity. We talk about being intense. I'd rather have people think I'm a little overly intense or passionate than lukewarm. So when we talk about our core values, we don't halfway, we don't cut corners, we show up and we bring intensity. And the T, there was a lot of things that came to my mind when I was thinking of this one. I know some of you guys are in your car. I do see Mitch is in his car. He is a player from last year's squad. So I know I could call on him, but he is in his vehicle. So we're going to tell you that the T is togetherness, not toughness. Toughness was a good one. Tenacity, I love it. Tenacity in a player, but togetherness. So the club program that we talk about is about thankfulness, gratitude, resiliency, intensity, togetherness. So those are the things we talk about a lot. And this program is one program. We'll have 4 teams this spring. One program, 4 teams. So we'll have Zoom calls once a week like this, where we'll have a program-wide Zoom call, and then we'll have outbreaks or breakout rooms to your individual team. So we're going to have a 8th grade team, this year's 8th graders. So Coach Monnet will be leading that group, Braden. So if you're an 8th grader currently, that group is led by Braden, and that is 8th graders. So they'll play 14U in most tournaments. And this is our first year we've had a team that we've had that young. But due to demand and just for me wanting to get kids into a program at a younger age that can kind of grow up through the program, we expanded down to that age group of 20, 30 players. Man, 2002 doesn't seem like that long ago when I was dominating for the Grants Pass Cavemen. But man, 2030 graduates, Elliot, you're a 2030 graduate? Okay, wow. So that's going to be Coach Monnet Braden. I got to coach him when he was in high school. So I feel like I can know what he's going to be coaching and feel comfortable in that. He's been an assistant high school coach, is the current head strength and conditioning coach at Hidden Valley High School, and is also the founder and director of Pure Performance Athletics. Braden, give us the full name of your work, your performance program.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me okay?
I got you.
Okay. Well, nice to see everybody. But Pure Hoops Performance is what you were looking for there.
Pure Hoops Performance, PHP.
Yeah. And go Heels, by the way. Just one time for you.
See, I don't know. I don't know. He hasn't tried to cash a paycheck yet for this, so joke might be on you, Braden. No, I'm joking. Braden, I trust. He is not that young. I know it makes kids like, well, Brant, if you're only 25, how could you have coached this kid when he was okay? I'm in my 40s now, but Braden was a great player, played in college, and is now gainfully employed at Hidden Valley High School, running their strength and conditioning, has done an amazing remodel to their weight room. And I'm just excited because I feel like he's a great coach, but can also be coached. And that's one of the things that we have a great coaching staff. I think that's the main thing that differentiates us is the people. Grit is a great acronym, but a cool saying, a slogan doesn't create a culture. Everybody wants a cool slogan, win the day, row the boat, right? Like that's cool, but your habits, your behavior, and your beliefs are what create a culture. So this grit culture is built by the people that are in it and have been in it. It takes a little bit of time to get a little bit of a culture going. And so that's why I love to see guys that like Zach and Mitch and Cooper, some of the guys that have been in the program before back, is because they kind of know what to expect. And so they can kind of help teach the new guys. So I'm not having to teach everything again. But our 15U coach, and one thing I love about Zoom is we're all busy people, but we have from an airport, maybe even this is our 15U head coach. So this year's freshman, Joel Jesse, I've known since I was watching him play for the Cavemen when I was in middle school. About my brother's age, and won a state title at Hidden Valley, was the head coach at Grants Pass High School, and is now traveling right now is currently in the airport, and he's like, "Oh crap, he's calling on me. He's calling on me. He's calling on me. I better get hurry. I better get to somewhere where I can hear him." Coach Joel, Jesse, are you able to at least just give us a greeting? I know you are on the road. I do appreciate you jumping on, but would you be able to just say hello and give us a greeting real quick after you pivot your phone so it's at a horizontal angle? I'm going to pass it over to you, Joel, so that way you can say hello if he's able to unmute. Maybe he's in the airport, maybe he's busy, maybe he doesn't
It's
know that he's
super.
is it no? Is it too loud, Joel? Can you pivot your phone for me? Yeah, I think that would help. See that? There we go.
Is that better? Can
We can hear
everybody
you
hear
loud
me?
and clear, and you look great.
All right. Go Cougs. Go Cougs.
Brigham Young is where his son is a track athlete currently in college. Joel,
Yeah,
what made you come back to Grit? You coached with us last summer, and now you're back again with the 15s. What would you say was the reason that you decided to come back and coach with Grit?
I just loved all the connections. I like coaching kids who want to be there, which is, sometimes at the high school level, some kids want to be there. Some people just want to be social and play with their buddies and stuff. But all the kids that are in our program want to get better. They're sponges for wanting to learn. And for a coach, that's a breath of fresh air. And I really enjoyed coaching the group that I had last summer. I went around and watched all the kids that were in our program in this high school season that is still going on. And every single one of our kids improved. Some of them improved a little bit, and some of them improved like crazy, crazy good. So those were some of the things that I enjoyed. And I also enjoyed learning from all the other coaches. I've been coaching for about 20 years, but as a coach, you always can learn new things, and got to learn a lot of new things from Coach Willis and Coach Miner, this past season, and added to my arsenal of things to allow kids to get better who want to get better. And that was the biggest reason for me wanting to come back.
Awesome. Thanks, Joel. Thanks for grabbing it and hopping on even when you are on the road traveling. I do appreciate it. So Braden's got the 14s. Joel has the 15s, 16s. This year's sophomore group will be led by Coach John Willis. Coach Willis is the man. If you don't know Coach Willis, I hope you get the opportunity to meet him and get to know him. He is one of my favorite people. He is in a new position now. He is in real estate. So he is at an open house right now. So he is not able to join us, but he is a former head college basketball coach. He was the head coach at South Puget Sound Community College, and then he was an assistant at Linfield. I'm sorry, I'm at Pacific. If you didn't know, I'm at Pacific University, and Linfield's like one of our big rivals. And Willis will say, "Well, how's it a rivalry, Minor? We beat your ass every time we played you." And so he will remind, I'm not even going to talk about that because he's not on the call to back that up. But Coach Willis was at Willamette. If you want to talk about those games, Coach Willis, hit me in the DM. But and then he's currently an assistant coach at Corbin, Western Baptist. If you're older like me, we used to call it Western Baptist, but now it's called Corbin University. So Coach John Willis, he is an assistant at Corbin University in Salem, and he is an amazing guy, high energy, ultra intense, competitive. First one there giving you high fives when you're doing what you should be doing. If you're not doing what you should be doing, we will tell you that. And we are the type that will tell you that we don't coach on eggshells. We're not going to let things slide. We're not going to let people get away with things. So this program is bigger than just going to the tournaments on the weekends and playing. When you wear grit on your chest, you're representing everybody in this program. So some programs say, oh, you don't play for the name on the front or the back, you play for the name on the front. You play for the name on the front and back. We put the name on the back of everybody's uniforms. So you are representing your family, you're representing grit too. So we are very selective in who we bring into this program, but it is definitely, like I said, the people. So I direct the program. I don't coach the teams. I'm an assistant for all the teams. So Melissa can attest that she's seen me show up. It's hard to coach when you have Maggie or Jack. Both of them, I'm more trying to keep track of my kids. So it's nice that I can be an assistant, show up, support the kids, run the Zoom calls, lead the program, but have guys like Coach Lunt, Coach Willis, Coach Jesse, Coach Braden that are there running the tournaments, coaching the games. Coach Ethan Moss will be an assistant throughout the program. He's currently an assistant at Pacific. So we have Monit at the 15s, Joel at the Mon at the 14s, Joel at the 15s, John at the 16s, and then the 17U, which they call it 17U, but you can be 18 and play. So I don't know why we really call it 17U. It's our top team. So our this year's juniors and seniors will play for Coach Lunt, and Coach Lunt is one of my favorite people. I had the fortune of knowing him through Max Hoops when I was coaching at SOU. And then when Coach Lunt took the job at Pacific University, I was like, I would love to get to learn and spend time around this guy because I'm a pretty high energy guy. I'm a pretty high energy guy. But Coach Lunt kind of makes me look sleepy at times because he is ultra high energy. And so I had the good fortune of being around Coach Lunt as his assistant at Pacific University for 5 years. And now I am the assistant director of admissions at Pacific. So I still work at Pacific, but I'm not on his staff at the university. But he is the head coach for our 17U team. And I do think he was able to jump in. Coach Lunt, are you able to say hello?
Hi, Maggie.
Maggie wants to say hi too. This is Maggie. If you guys don't know, this is Maggie Miner. She's the superstar of the family. We're going to dominate. So, all right,
Yes.
Coach Lunt, I'm going to pass it over to you. Maybe we have a good group of folks here on the
Yeah.
call. Maybe let us know why you wanted to coach with Grit, how I was able to talk you into it from being a head college coach. And then I'll let you take it away. I'm going to mute before Maggie starts making too much noise. Coach Lunt.
Yep. I got it. Thanks, Brant, for having me on. We actually just got done with we do a senior brunch for our team. We literally just got done with that about an hour ago, which was awesome. We got 9 graduate seniors this year, and having all the families and lots of, one of the stories I always talk about is Jim Valvano, who was a great NC State coach, who passed away from cancer back in the 90s. Talked about one of the great things you can do on a day-to-day basis is, 1, you can think, 2, you can laugh, 3, you can cry. And that was one of our point of emphasis today, as a group with our team and with our family there, and it was an awesome day. So we had a lot of thinking, we had a lot of crying, and we had a lot of laughing. So we just got done with that brunch, which was an amazing experience. But going back to what Coach Miner talked about, why grit? Well, let's just put it this way. Coach Miner convinced me to coach at Grit because of the foundation and what Grit is based on and what it's all about. Um, I am a head college basketball coach. I have been one of those. I have been in that role for 20 years now. A lot of my time is focused on coaching and recruiting and developing young men. And that's just with my job I have. So, when Coach Miner approached me about helping out with Grit, um, that in the back of my mind before we had really sat down and talked about it, well, this is going to take away not only from my job but from my family. I have 4 children. Obviously I have a wife, so I'm very busy with that. But What makes grit special is it's not just about going to Friday, Saturday, Sunday games and coaching players. It's really about developing and building connections and helping them develop on and off the court, which is what we're all about as a program here at Pacific, and why I coach college basketball. So the fact that those priorities align with what our priorities, in being selfish, my priorities as a human being and as a coach align with, is what makes it special. Um, One of the things I will say with our program is that, yes, obviously we are going to be recruiting players, if you're good enough to play, at our place. But more importantly, we are a great um, uh, avenue as far as learning how the whole recruiting process works. And I think that's the most important piece. We've had a lot of players that have played for Grit, that were better than our level, or maybe Pacific wasn't the right fit, that we've helped them find the right places to go play. OIT, junior colleges, NAI. I know I just brought up OIT, but Division 2, other Division 3 schools. We're here to be a helper in helping you find a place where you want to go play. If that is your true dreams, as far as playing college basketball. So I think that's an important piece, is that I'm not when I coach Grit basketball, I'm not the coach at Pacific men's basketball. I'm the coach at Grit. So my job is to get the best out of you, to coach you like a college coach would coach anyone, which is going to be very demanding. We're going to hold you to a very high standard. But then my job is to help you find the best fit for what you're looking for. Been like I said, I've been very fortunate to be a head college coach, in the Pacific Northwest, where relationships have really developed amongst not only Division 3 coaches, but Division 2, Division 1. I'm a phone call away from Matt Logie, who is one of my closest friends, who's the head coach at Montana State. Shantae Leggins, who's the head coach at University of Portland. Mark Few, who's the head coach at Gonzaga. Um, you know, uh, so those relationships are always in place, and if you're good enough, we will find you a place to play. Um, you know, Whatever level fits you. So I think that's the one thing that's unique about our program, is you're going to get college coaching, you're going to get a college perspective, you're going to get connections, that can help you out. So what Brant does with this program is phenomenal. You're not only going to get coached, on the X and O's piece and on the court, but you're going to get coached mentally. You're going to get coached on how to represent something bigger than yourself, which I think is a very valuable skill to learn when you're 15, 16, 17, 18 years old, that not a lot of programs do. So these are the things that we're going to offer. And this is why I chose to, out of my busy schedule, represent a program, because I get to go do more than just coach. I get to go mentor, and help young men find their goals and find out what they want to do, and help represent them to the highest degree. So, yes, you will be coached hard. We're going to hold you to a standard. If you are not to that standard, you will be coached hard and you'll be held accountable. But that's how college is. That's how the real world works. So you just got to know that, with joining our program. But we're going to love you. We're going to love you hard. We're going to coach you hard. And I think that's what's great about our program. So I've been rambling all day. I've literally had 9 speeches for all of our seniors. I appreciate your time, Coach Miner. Thanks for having us on. And go Grit.
Let's go, man. Thanks, Coach. I really appreciate you, for sure, hopping on and taking some time. And man, I love those guys, those senior guys that came in. I mean, and I know Brian Gray was telling
And
me last night.
you recruited a lot of them. So you need to take credit for that too, because you brought in a lot of those guys.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you for acknowledging that. And that's Brian Gray said that last night. He's like, man, not many guys would have taken a chance on a 5'9" little like that Lucas Gray kid, but that he's got a lot of moxie. And I remember when Rhodey came into the office. I remember that day we were sitting there, and you're like, "Who do you model your game after?" And he said, "I think Bill Lambier, or was it
Dennis
Bill
Rodman.
Dennis Rodman?" Because yeah, that Dennis Rodman. So he's just been it's been fun to see those guys have success. But I do appreciate you taking some time and jumping on, and you guys can see why having value of a head. I know people are like, "Wait, he's been a head college coach 20 years. He looks like he's like 40." That the math does math. He was very young. We joke he's like Doogie Howser. Parents always get that joke. Kids have no idea who Doogie Howser is, but he was out of college when he did get his first head college coaching job. But another story, another day is if you want to find out his real first coaching job, I can tell you about that. And he was not only as a winner, has he been at the college level, I don't know. I think we better tell him now, Coach. What this is one of my favorite Coach Lunt stories, though, about how he got started in coaching, his first coaching, his foundational experience. Share with everyone, Coach, where you got your coaching start.
So my first coaching experience, I was 16 years old. I worked at a YMCA in San Diego, California. And my boss at the time was my first job ever. So you all know when you get your first job, you want to make a great first impression. So my boss at the time had known that I was a pretty good basketball player in the area, and he asked me, "Hey, would you mind coaching a Sunday clinic?" And I said, "Sure, yeah, absolutely. Anything you need." And show up to my first Sunday clinic. I was assuming that it was going to be younger kids, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, elementary school, middle school, and walked into my boss's office, and he was like, his name was Dalvon, and he was like, "Hey, they're over on court one." And so at this YMCA, there was three courts, and they were all separated by those curtains, which we all know. And I walked out on court one and saw a bunch of women that were senior citizens, so older women, and kind of gave him a little wave, and then went out to court two, and then see one on court two, and then went out in court three, see him on court three, and then went back to my boss's office. I said, "Hey, Dalvon, I don't see the kids," and he goes, "Well, the clinic's not for kids; it's actually for senior women." So my youngest lady that was in our clinic was 50 years old. My oldest was 82. And I ran a senior women's clinic, basketball clinic, for 6 weeks on Sundays for an hour and a half, which was awesome. And ended up becoming one of those things where um, they asked me to be their coach, and I literally at the point at the time was like, "Wait, you guys actually really play?" And yeah, it was 3-on-3 basketball, and that was a big deal. And so I ended up coaching our San Diego Hoopers, and our it was a 65 and older team. Um, and we actually ended up winning our district, won our state, and made it to the Senior Olympics, and made it to the gold medal game. Lost by 1 point to the a team from New Mexico, but it was a really cool experience, and kind of led to a bunch of other things. I was on the Tom Brokaw show, which most parents would know about that. I got flown out to Hollywood to be on the family show. Sat in a green room with the cast of ER, Eddie Money, which is, yeah, just crazy times when you're 16, 17 years old. And I used to, when I was 16, 17, I avoided all those conversations because I didn't want anyone to know that I was coaching senior women. So like, yeah, I never told anyone about it, but it kind of became a big deal. But I knew at that young of an age that like coaching was something that I really wanted to do and was inspired by. And I loved just making impact in people's lives, even if it was 65-year-old women and they missed a layup and they had to do a suicide. I mean, at that age, I didn't care, which was kind of crazy, making 65-year-old women run suicides, but that was the standard, and that's what we did. So, yeah, that was my first coaching experience, which then led to, you know, a lot of other things. But I know Coach Miner loves telling about that story. There are some videos online of me being a 16-year-old yelling and screaming at 65-year-old women. But yeah, that's where my coaching career began. And I'm very grateful for that.
Awesome. I just love that story. Thanks for sharing that. And if you want, I do have the videos of him, and he is not just saying, "Excuse me, miss, would you mind just going from this block?" He is telling them.
Yeah, I was a hard ass. Like it's funny. Like they would miss shots, and it's like, nope, you're running, and they would be looking at me going, "Wait, what?" I said, "Nope, you're running. That's how we roll." So don't miss a layup. Like all the players that are on this call, like don't miss a layup, right? It's a layup.
Yeah.
Finish the layup.
Just thanks for sharing that. I do love that story, and I do have the video of him. So if you want, I can share that with you guys. But so 14, 15, 16, 17 U teams. We will start first thing, we will have an evaluation on March 1st. So on March 1st, we will have an evaluation. Um, the way we select our teams, we're hand picking 8 players for each team, and then we'll have an evaluation for the other 2. So some of you, this is your first introduction with grit, so you don't know where you stand. Some of you have been offered a spot. Some of you have accepted a spot. So that's the way we do it. We have, if we offer you a spot and you say you don't want to take a guaranteed spot, you want to shop around, you want to see what other programs are out there, you want to see who else is out to try out, then that's fine. You can come back for the tryout on March 1st or the evaluation. But then if there's 4 kids in that same situation, we're only going to pick 2 of them. So it's a way that we can get a good core group of players together, and then we can have an evaluation for the other slots. So if we offered you a spot and you've accepted it, let's go. If we've offered you a spot and you have not accepted it, then you have about 3 days to make that determination if you want to save that guaranteed spot or you want to show up at the evaluation and try out for one of those 2 spots. So those are kind of the situations we have. That's how we select our teams. So evaluation March 1st, and then we'll start doing Zoom calls. Uniforms will get ordered with names on the back. We'll start getting together, get the team building. There'll be exercises. Players make an introduction video. Parents, we ask to make an introduction video. You can be kind of stretching your comfort zone sometimes, mom and dad, but players, we're trying to have them stretch their comfort zone. So we want to have the best support system of any program in the Northwest. So we want parents to not just not know each other. I love it when parents start to sit together. I don't just recruit players, I do recruit families. I recruit kids that have great moms and dads, and that's important because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And I know every parent thinks their kids are a little better than they actually are, except for me, because my kid really is, you saw her, she really is the cutest girl in the world. I'm not that dad. I'm not the dad that just thinks his daughter's the cutest. I'm the dad that's daughter actually is the cutest. So I'm not that guy. No, I'm joking. Kind of. No, you saw her. You guys all think now I'm not joking. But we're going to try to do the best we can with the 9 to 10 players we have. We're going to coach them, like Coach Lunt said. We're going to coach hard. We're going to try to get the most out of them. There is Tuesday night Zoom calls that we prioritize because that is a big thing, is the team chemistry, the culture of our program. A lot of that is developed over the Zoom calls where we have scavenger hunts or trivia nights. We had a leaderboard. So there's ways that we try to gamify it a little bit, but those Tuesday night Zoom calls are important. We do record them, so if you can't make it, you can watch the replay. However, we try to get the players there because that's how a lot of that team building happens. And that's why our bench is active. We don't promise starting spots. We don't promise playing time. What you get is what you'll earn. What you earn is dependent on engagement, skill. Skill is part of it. You can be the most engaged, but if you're just not at the level we're gonna coach you up. But what we try to do is we try to get every player to know their role, accept that role, and then excel at that role. And then it grows. And so I know from high school, I was a good high school player at Grants Pass. And then I went to college and I never started a game in college. My role was different, to go from being all state in high school to working really hard just to sit the bench. Like if I wasn't the hardest working player, I wouldn't have been on the team. And that's kind of an adult grown up lesson, but everybody's got to bring something to the team. And I'm not 6'9". I was a good high school player, like I said, but it's a step up to Division I is big. Any level of college is big. So I waved a towel. I gave a lot of high fives. I loved my experience in college. I was a great walk on. I helped the team GPA. Here's a lesson. The best thing that you players can do right now to improve your chances of playing in college is get better grades. What do you mean? I need to get a better jumper. I need to get a better handle. I need to get stronger. To improve your opportunities and options, better grades is the best thing. Because if you have just for an example, a Pacific 3.5, you get $27,000 a year. 3.9, you get 40,000. If you have a 2.9, you can go to the JUCOs. If you have a 2.9, you're not coming to Pacific. So the better your grades are, the more options you'll have. So I say 3 things: get better grades, get around good friends, and stay out of trouble. There's too many good players out there to risk a kid that has an MIP or a DUI. There's just too many kids. So risking getting in trouble, if you want to try and play in college, you can't be a risk off the floor or on the floor, but you can't be a risk off the floor. You have to make sure that you're taking care of business in the classroom and off the floor. And that's one thing I do love about grit is some kids are like, well, there's just not other kids at my high school that had the same desire to play in college that I do. Well, their actions don't have to be the same. I'm looking kind of down at some kids from rural Eastern Oregon, Curtis, or maybe their kids aren't as serious at your school. But you get around kids with grit, great friendships form because they're hearing some of these same messages. They're talking about thankfulness and gratitude and resiliency. And so I've seen a lot of great friendships. I got invited to 2 weddings last summer, former players. They didn't marry each other, just in case it sounded a little confusing. 2 separate weddings of separate players. But they met their groomsmen this was the Oregon Stars, my previous team. But they met each other playing on this club team, and then now they're standing up at each other's weddings. And that is the best part for me, is the relationships. With families, with players, they always say, are you a good coach? I say, ask me 10 years from now. When the kids are husbands and fathers, then I'll know if I was a good coach. Like if they're good parents, like I want to be a good basketball coach, but honestly, I'd rather be a good husband and a good father. I want to be a good basketball director. I want to run a great program. But when it comes down to the end of the day, like I want to be a great father and I want to be a great husband. And those things matter more to me. And like I say, basketball, it's a game. It can be taken away. It's a game, the greatest game in my opinion, but it's a game. And so it's should not be put on the same pedestal as family, religion, whatever it is. I always say it's good, not God or gods, right? Whatever it is somebody worships, like they put up on that top pedestal, like that top level. I don't think basketball should not be put up there because, like we said, it could be taken away. You could get cut. You could not make a team. You could get hurt. So we want kids that have a zest for life, that have other passions. I love kids that are hoop junkies, but not at the sacrifice of your family, of your grades. Like those things shouldn't be basketball. Like I said, it's good, not God. Two O's, good, not God, because it can be taken away. So make sure that you guys are focused on doing the right stuff. And like I said, if you're wearing grit, if you're playing for grit, you're representing me going forward. So some people are like, man, you don't need to be getting in my business. And well, if you're part of grit, well, you just signed up to be part of my business. And some kids don't want Coach Miner or Coach Lunt to know what's going on. If you're going to play for us, like, because you're going to be representing us. So we're going to go watch you play. Like Joel said, Coach Jesse said he's been around watching a lot of the guys from Grit play. And so we take this, it is serious. And I know I love to have a good time and joke around, but I don't joke around when it comes to this type of stuff. If you're not doing what you should be doing, if you're flaky, if you're not dependent, then this is not going to be a good fit for you. And I'll say that for parents too. If your kid starts to be flaky, like coaches do have favorites, and the kids that show up, the kids that are dependable, the kids that are doing what they should be doing, those kids end up being the favorites. And there's kids that get offers to play at the next level who maybe aren't even a starter on their high school team. But if they're a great kid, if they win the sprints, if they're hustling, if they're going to help the team GPA, if they have a skill that could develop and help us down the road, like that could be. And I know there's players that's happened. So there's kids that play for Grit that come to Pacific. There's kids that are playing at, like Coach Lunt said, KG, Caden Groenig. I mentioned that name because some of the guys from down in Klamath know Caden, plays at OIT. He's doing lessons with some of the Grit guys down there. But he played for Grit and it was a better fit at OIT. So we helped him get there. Justin Parnell, a good friend. And like I said, Coach Lunt knows a lot of people. He's had opportunities to go to the Division I level. He's had opportunities to do lots of different things with basketball, but he's chose to stay at the Division III level because of the relationships. And that is something that's different. D1, it's a lot of like it's more transactional. You're not, and as a D1 coach, you're more of a CEO. You're not getting to know the players as well as you do at the smaller levels. But I do ramble a lot, so I'm going to pull it back to the schedule. So March 1st tryout, April 4th is going to be, so we'll be doing meetings, there'll be workouts between then. But April 3rd is the first official practice. That's April 3rd. April 4th, there's a showcase at Clackamas Community College where I bring together my coaching buddies. And this is, so there'll be some kids that are going to play for Grit that will be there. Hopefully most of them. There'll be some kids that aren't with Grit that come to this showcase at Clackamas Community College. And then that Sunday's Easter. So we're going to give family time on Easter. And then we'll take the following weekend off. And then it's Portland weekend off. And I'll send this out. So it's every other weekend going until the last weekend of May. So that's the 4th is the showcase, weekend off, tournament in Portland, weekend off, tournament in Portland, weekend off, tournament in Portland. Then Memorial Day, we're off. And then the last weekend of May. Normally the last weekend of May is Memorial Day, but it is not this year. There is a weekend in May after Memorial Day, and that's when we will go to Seattle. So there'll be and I know we have kids from Medford, Echo, um, Hermiston, all over. Looking at having a player from Nevada that would come up for the 3 tournaments in Seattle, possibly. So the main weekends are those ones with the Friday before those weekend practices, or those practices will be Friday night before the weekend tournaments. Well, those are the practices. We will do workouts on Wednesday. We will do workout in Medford and one in the Metro Portland area. Some of those will be at Riverside High School. Some of them will be at Pacific. Some of them will be at Visitation, which is where we were last year, that school out there in Forest Grove. Um, and then some of them will be at Sanders Court. So I'm getting all the Wednesdays finalized. They will be at the courthouse in Medford for all the Southern Oregon folks. Those are Wednesday nights. We're calling those workouts. So those are less of a priority than the Friday night before the weekend tournaments. Those were called practices. So we will be getting you all the final dates or the final locations of those Wednesdays here shortly. But as of now, we have Pacific, Riverside, and Sanders Court for those Wednesdays. Ethan Moss will be leading a lot of those up here with Braden and Joel down in Medford. And like I said, those will be more skill work. We'll put you getting a lot of shots up in positions that you would be taking them in our offense. And then on Tuesday Zoom calls, we'll go over some stuff. We're not going to teach a bunch of plays. We're going to give you a little bit of structure, some of the stuff that if you come to watch Pacific play, some of the stuff that they're doing at the college level, a little bit of structure. Try to teach you to play, not teach a bunch of plays. So that's kind of the structure. The commitment with the ask is that you're committed up through the end of May. Then early May, end of April, we can talk about July. We will have a July season as well. We give June with your high school teams. So June players are able to play with their high schools. And then we come back in July for 3 tournaments. And then August 1st and 2nd is the elite basketball school. So that's the camp that I've run for 16 years. I think Curtis has been there. I know Brett went to one. Mitch has been to those. Mitch is a 3-point record holder, sniper, Mitch Marion. But that is so there's 3 weekends in July, but that can be a separate thing. So if you have a terrible experience or you're not happy or you're not getting what you want out of this, then you're welcome to find another team in July. We'd ask you stay through May. If you are having a horrible experience, then you're free to go whenever. But hopefully we've vetted out some of the quitters before they quit on us. But if you're not having a good experience, if you don't feel like you're getting what you want out of it and you feel like you'd be better off playing in a different uniform, that's okay too. But we're going to try to do the best we can to coach the players hard, give them opportunities. First thing they do is they send us their goals, because if their goals are one thing, we can hold them to a higher standard. If they say they just want to play in high school, then then we'll coach them a little bit differently. But if they say they want to play in college, obviously we have a lot of college coaches on staff. A lot of us played in college. So one of my favorite quotes is that if your actions don't line up with your goals, change your goals or change your actions. Right? Pretty simple thought, but if you have these goals that are big, audacious goals, but then your habits, your behavior isn't in alignment with them, you're going to be disappointed. So if change your goal or change your actions and your habits. So we're going to coach the players that want to be coached. And yeah, Joel just said Coop setting goals, accomplishing them. They got the conference championship down there, leading scorer in the conference. Yeah, Cooper's just a testament to work and was just up here in Portland. Came to the game at Pacific last night and then drove all the way home. Was on the Zoom today, but went from being kind of a swing guy to leading the league in scoring after. Wish we could take more of the credit, but we'll give a lot of the credit to Braden and Joel and Cooper just with his work down there. So, but that's about all we have today. We will be wrapping up. I'm having a girls team this year, middle school girls out of Southern Oregon. So that call is going to be starting here soon. But I believe I'm just looking around through, I think almost everybody I've been in communication with. If there's anybody on this call that I have not been in communication with, I'm going to put my phone number in the chat and I will say it out loud because I don't think the chat goes through for the return when I post this. So it is 503 503 708 4871. That is my mobile. That is a cellular telephone number that will reach me. If I'm with my family or asleep, my phone's off. So don't worry if you do need to text or call. You can anytime call or text that number. But if you can Google the answer, Google it before you bother me. I'm not saying you're a bother, fellas, but if you can Google the answer or there's somebody else that knows and it's a Saturday afternoon and I'll get back to you. But if my wife taught me this one, ask three, then ask me. She's a principal, so she tells her staff, like, you can come to the principal if you got a question, but ask three of your fellow teachers if they know the answer. If nobody knows the answer, then you can come to me. But oh, Brandy, yes, great question. The cost for the season is $2,000. So $2,000. There is that's 3 sets of uniforms that they keep. That's all the tournaments, the practices, the workouts, the mental training piece. That is something that I would like to send out to you a little bit more about the mental training. We didn't get to cover that too much, but that is a valuable piece of this program. So during the week, players are expected to spend between 1 to 2 hours on extra stuff outside of the workouts and practices. So there's the Zoom calls Tuesday, workouts Wednesday, and then we expect 1 to 2 hours behind the mental training. And I know Mitch has done it. Brett was doing it down there in Medford. Brett Baker's done it. Mitch has been through it. But it's just really digestible videos, great information, digestible, but that's a big part of it. So I highly encourage the parents to be asking the players what they're learning in that because that is a big part of the program and the extra stuff that we do, the articles, the player development. So I'm going to leave it on this. We try to talk about development and experience. For a club program, we're going to talk about development, getting your players better and having a positive experience, trying to have things organized, trying to communicate the best I can, trying to get guys that like each other to make this a positive experience for not just parents, not just players, not just coaches, but we want everybody involved to make this a positive experience. It includes tournament costs. It does not include travel. It includes tournament costs, coaching costs. I do pay all the coaches, but it does not include travel. We are working on some of the Portland area families. So if you're a Portland area family and you have an extra guest room or area, yes, we will do fundraising. One of the things that we did for this Greece trip that we're going on is selling sponsorships or logos on the jerseys. And I'm open to fundraising ideas too. Some of it, we're trying to teach sales skills also. So players maybe asking for sponsorship from local businesses. If you think this is a life-changing experience, if you think this is something that could change the trajectory of your life, you'll be okay with people telling you no if you go ask a business for $250. They'll say next. I got laughed at sometimes by pretty girls that said no, but I also got some pretty dates. So if you're afraid to ask, you'll get no as an answer. So some of that's confidence, but if you think this is a life-changing experience, I'll work with players, I'll work with families to help try to make it work. But it is a big investment. It is expensive. It's valuable. It's not cheap. It's valuable, but I understand that it is not cheap either. So feel free to reach out if you guys have other questions. I'm going to start this girls Zoom here soon. So thanks everybody for coming. Feel free to reach out. Thanks, Matt. Maggie's going to say bye to everybody. You don't need to have that scowl on your face, Maggie. Wow.
Hi, Maggie.
See,
Thanks,
look,
Brant.
bye, Melissa. Bye, everybody.
See you. Thanks.
Wait, bye, Max.
Thank
See you,
you.
Ty. See you, Zach. See you guys. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Stop the recording here, Max. Say bye.